We're going to fix your aim forever in CS2. We'll go over core fundamentals of aiming as well as how to practice them, and at the end of this video, you will feel a night and day difference in your aiming ability. If you're not sure you can trust me, I'm Louis, a 3000 ELO player on FACEIT, and I play internationally with Team USA at LAN events around the world. I've included timestamps in the description below, so you can skip ahead or revisit any tip you'd like. So the first thing that we have to cover is about tapping. Now, when you guys practice in a map like Aimbots, you're probably just practicing tapping around and just switching targets, and you think that that actually might be helping you. But when you think about going to a map like Anubis, if I just, obviously come into the game, it's first gun round and we want to go B, I'm not just sprinting out towards B site, just tapping heads, just clicking and expecting myself to just one tap everyone like I'm Scream. And I'm mentioning this because that practice is very unrealistic. Now, one way that we can fix our aim and not just shoot bots or shoot standard targets is by going in offline maps and practicing your spraying, because most of the time when you are coming out B site on Anubis, you're going to be spraying down people. Either they're playing in dark, maybe they're playing out here in E-box, or maybe you're swinging out and you see someone right here towards back site. You're going to be spraying them down instead of just swinging and just trying to tap like this in the open. Now, the best way to practice this is, like I mentioned in the offline map, is understanding the positions you play on the map. So a good example for me is I default more towards canals on my team. So one thing that I can practice is, instead of just coming out here and playing pre-fire maps and tapping bots, that's really good to have crosshair placement, but I want to understand what my spray feels like. So when I swing out here and let's say someone's fighting me E-box, I want to see how good my spray control is. And as you can see, it might kill one guy swinging here, but if someone else swings, my bullets are going to be a little bit to the left. Another good example is when I entry over here towards A main, I want to make sure that my spray is on right here towards this guy Fountain. And then I just want to make sure it feels good if I'm swinging out to shoot someone Cake, maybe someone's Heaven, maybe someone's on the left side of Cake, I'm coming out towards Broken. I just want to make sure that my bullets are hitting in this vicinity. As you can see, if he's playing this headshot angle, this guy is going to be dead from my spray. Now, something else you guys can do, since obviously you're going to be using different weapons, is as well doing on the CT side. So like for me, I'm an E-box player on Anubis on my team, so just understanding my sprays on these tight angles, like where someone might be playing towards T stairs. Next, we're going to talk about how to break a very bad habit that is holding back your aim in CS2, but first, let me tell you about the Monkey. Skins Monkey is a CS2 skins trading site marketplace that provides an instant way to get new skins. My favorite thing about Skins Monkey is that I can trade skins that I no longer want and trade it for a skin that has equal value. If you use code LouisCS2, you get a $5 bonus on your first trade, and if you want to buy skins, you can get a 30% deposit bonus plus an extra 5% using my code. The link is down in the description. Thank you, Skins Monkey, for sponsoring this video. Now, since I brought up practicing aimbots, I think it's important that I really do talk about it while showing you guys what I mean. So one of the things that I like to do in aimbots is obviously turn off all the directions here and just play with the bots right in front of me. But what a lot of people make the mistake of is literally just strafing around and shooting bots, just doing it mindlessly, not even understanding what they're practicing. So one thing that you guys do need to practice that will help you get more kills is, instead of just trying to shoot the bot, really think about aiming for the head. If someone does happen to be in front of you, or maybe you're peeking and you see someone, you're going to start to aim for the head, and that's when you commit to the spray that we just talked about. So one good practice that you guys can do, you can literally just sit here and practice flicking to someone's head. You can even do it where you're flicking down to his head like this, which is something that a lot of people don't practice. And since in CSGO and CS2, there's a lot of different elevation changes, practicing up flicks and down flicks can help you guys a lot, and it will also help your micro adjustments. Now, when I talk about micro adjustments, I'm talking about where you're flicking to someone's head, but if your crosshair is a little bit off, you do another micro flick to instantly flick to his head and kill him. Now, someone like Donk, who has really good headshot precision, where he's just flicking to the head, doesn't even have to micro adjust, that's a little bit different. But Donk is also someone who doesn't deathmatch. He only plays aimbots, so he's constantly in aimbots thinking about flicking to someone's head instead of just mindlessly running around just shooting like this, thinking that you're warming up. Now, something that I see a lot of players do that gets them killed almost every single time is committing to a crouch spray, and it mostly affects people playing in anchor positions. Now, a good example of this, if I was playing default on the A site and all of a sudden I started getting popped on A, if I swung out default and just committed to this crouch spray and then tried to move away, I become a really easy target, because I'm sitting here for 2 to 3 seconds just trying to spray someone down, and anyone that's trying to trade this guy or swinging out of Palace will be able to instantly kill me, because I'm literally just sitting still in a crouch. Swinging out and crouch spraying isn't that bad if you know that you aren't going to get traded, but what makes it bad if you know there's multiple opponents. But instead, if I just swing out, maybe tap crouch to draw out his crosshair, I'm still able to move and reposition to frag the person that's trying to trade him. Crouch spraying really commits you in a spot. It almost puts cement blocks on your feet. If you are playing an anchor position, you want to make sure that you're moving around, trying to make the opponents guess where you're playing, instead of just sitting here spraying at people coming out balk. Someone might jump out window. He can literally just come and try to trade me. Now, if you guys have ever had someone in your game that just looks like they have no idea how to aim, but they always top frag, it's because they have good crosshair placement and positioning. Now, this happens a lot in Counter-Strike, where where someone might look like a total bot where they're just running around like this looking at the floor, but then they instantly just peek someone and they're able to kill them because they know where to aim and they know how to control their spray. You don't really need to know how to aim at all. You don't need to like master flicks, you know, to other targets and angles. As long as you have a good idea where your crosshair should be placed and you have good movement where you can counter strafe fast enough, you're always going to guarantee yourself some kills. Now, the best way to practice crosshair placement is obviously just going in offline maps and just pretty much putting your crosshair at head level. You can even spawn in bots at some points where if you really don't know where these people might be peeking you at head level, like a good example is over here towards a ramp, where if I wanted to play this off angle over here towards triple, one thing I would do is place a bot to see where these people would be peeking me, because since it is on an elevation, it's obviously going to be a little bit lower than what I expect. So just placing a bot down right here would give me a good idea on where I should put my crosshair. Now, another way that you guys can practice this is obviously playing on pre-fire maps, because those always have the bots in good common positions where a lot of people play. But if you do understand the pre-fire maps and really drill them a lot, it'll give you a good idea on how to aim, where to aim, and how to position yourself to isolate angles. So when you are dueling with your good crosshair placement, you're not overcommitting with two angles, and this will give you a really good upper hand in your aim. Now, something else that could really help you guys is finding a crosshair. Now, when I say find a crosshair, that doesn't mean we're just going to go copy Donk's crosshair because he's one of the best players in the world. When I say find a crosshair, I'm talking about find one that makes you feel comfortable. Like a good example of finding a good crosshair is if we look at someone like Ema, this is a crosshair that's not very common. Or if we look at someone like Woxic, where he has this crosshair, even though it says it's pink, like look how big this crosshair is and how big of a gap. This is something that a lot of people wouldn't use. Now, this is something that you guys need to really think about when you are finding a crosshair. You just don't want to copy, you know, necessarily your favorite pro. You just want to find one that is going to make you feel confident in your aim. It makes it almost feel like that it just makes your aim better. Like a good example for me is that some of these crosshairs are very, very normal, but a lot of them are different sizes, different gaps, different thicknesses, and finding that comfortable one will elevate your aim so much that you might not even realize it. And a lot of people always think about crosshairs where, you know, you need to keep the same one for consistency, but actually when you do change your crosshair, it refreshes your brain, which can also just make you feel a lot more comfortable because it almost feels like something is new in front of you. So a lot of times it's good to have, you know, 2 to 3 crosshairs where you can switch between that will make you feel ultimately comfortable. So the last thing I'll leave you guys up to judge, but a lot of people say your view model should be on the left or right side depending on your dominant eye. Now, since we were talking about crosshair and comfort, some people actually find comfort in having the view model on the left side like this. Now, when I play with the view model on the left side, my spray does feel a little bit different as well with my aim. Now, that doesn't mean I want to play with left-handed. I actually play on the right side because of my dominant eye, but there is a test online that you guys can Google to find your dominant eye that may actually end up helping you. Like one thing that's very common is a lot of people that play Counter-Strike, most of the people that are like the aim gods who love aim trainers will have their view model setting where it's all the way out like this, and they might even have it where it's all the way down at the bottom because they just think it helps them aim better. So it's just something that you guys are going to have to experiment with, and I'll leave it up to you guys to be the judge if it actually helps your aim or not. If this video helped you, make sure to check out this video on how to rank up in Face It Fast by clicking the video on screen now.